Am I the a-hole for telling my cheating ex-wife's parents that I don't give a fuck about her anymore? And she is not my problem? Me and my ex-wife, Mary, have been together for 7 years and married for 2. We waited to have babies cause we wanted first to be financially stable, and after 2 years we started trying to have a baby. Those initial 7 years felt like the foundation of everything I ever wanted. We had met when we were younger, worked hard, saved up, and finally bought the house with the extra bedrooms. We were at that stage where every conversation revolved around the future, what the nursery would look like, which school district was best, and how our lives were finally starting. We were actively trying, and for those few months, I thought I was the happiest man alive. I felt like we were a team, a solid unit that nothing could break. So a few months passed by when I caught her cheating on me. It wasn't a gut feeling or a slow realization. It was a cold, hard discovery that felt like a physical blow to the chest. I remember the air leaving my lungs as I looked at the evidence. The betrayal wasn't just about the act, it was about the timing. We were trying to bring a child into the world, and all the while, she was stepping outside of our marriage. I immediately told her that I wanted a divorce, and she went crazy trying to suggest couple therapy, to forgive her, to think wisely cause everyone makes mistakes, her words, and all this type of BS. She cried until her face was swollen, following me from room to room, claiming that she still loved me and that our history was worth more than her moment of weakness. But for me, the history was tainted. I was adamant on my decision and never forgave anyone for cheating in my life and never would. To me, a marriage is a contract of the soul, and once you break that, there is no fixing it. You can't unring that bell. Our divorce was quick, thanks to a prenup, but unfortunately very dramatic, cause during the separation and even in court Mary wouldn't stop crying and begging me to think back at my decision. It was exhausting. Every legal meeting was a battle of emotions. She would look at me with these pleading eyes, trying to catch my gaze, trying to remind me of the 7 years we had before the fall. The court hallways were filled with her sobs, making me look like the villain to anyone passing by. Fortunately, like I said, it was quick and I always thank God for the idea of the prenup, cause it avoided a lot of other drama and discussion. I still have everything, and since she cheated on me, I didn't have to pay her anything. The house, the savings, the retirement, it all stayed with me. It was a small consolation for a shattered life, but it meant I didn't have to lose my future twice. The thing is that after I caught her cheating, I tried my best to cut all contact with her and to talk with her only through my lawyer. I didn't want to hear her voice, read her texts, or see her name pop up on my screen. I needed to excise her from my life like a tumor. When finally the divorce was finalized, I changed my number and house to avoid any unnecessary and useless drama. I sold the home we had bought for our future family. I couldn't stand to live in the rooms where we had planned our baby's nursery. I moved to a different part of the city, started a new job, and essentially became a ghost to our old social circle. I needed the silence to process the anger. 3 years passed by and I'm still trying to recover, cause it really hurt me deep and cause I really loved her. People think 3 years is a long time, but when you spend nearly a decade with someone, the grief doesn't just vanish. I had to learn how to be me without her. It hasn't been easy. There were nights where the silence of my new home was deafening, and I'd find myself replaying every moment, wondering how I missed the signs. But unfortunately, cheating is one of the few things I never forgave anyone for, but thanks to my therapist I'm slowly recovering and getting better. I've put in the work, the long sessions, the journals, the hard self-reflection. I was finally reaching a place of peace. Now the issue is this: after my divorce I didn't hear news from Mary, so I didn't know anything about her, her life, or anything else. I didn't want to know. I had blocked her family on social media and asked my few remaining mutual friends never to mention her name. I was living in a bubble of blissful ignorance until a few days ago I found out, reluctantly, that she had a big accident in the car and was hospitalized in serious condition. Apparently, it was a high-speed collision, and she was in the ICU. I know this only because 2 days ago I bumped into Mary's parents in the supermarket. I was just trying to get some groceries after a long day at work when I turned the corner and there they were. It was the first time I had seen them in years. They looked older, frazzled, and they immediately told me this, even if I don't understand why. They didn't even say hello, they just launched into the tragedy of her accident. I stood there clutching my shopping basket, feeling a strange mix of nothingness and irritation. Then they said that it would be nice if I go to visit her at the hospital, cause despite what happened between us, Mary was always an important part of my life. They spoke as if the cheating was a minor disagreement that we should put aside because of a crisis. They expected me to drop everything and play the role of the concerned ex-husband. I told them that I would never go to visit her cause Mary wasn't my problem anymore and I don't have to do anything for her. The atmosphere shifted instantly. We started arguing right there in the aisle. They were shocked by my lack of empathy. They started raising their voices, telling me I was cold and unforgiving. They reminded me that we were together for almost a decade. I fired back. I reminded them that their daughter didn't care about those years when she was with another man. I clearly told them that I don't give a fuck about Mary, her life and what she is doing cause she cheated on me, breaking my trust, and they always justified her cheating, blaming me for what happened, so she can go to hell, and then I left. I walked out of the store, leaving my basket behind. I was shaking with a rage I hadn't felt in years. They had the nerve to ask for my time when they spent the separation telling everyone I was too controlling or too focused on work, trying to paint me as the reason she strayed. They reached out to my parents and told them what happened, and now my father and my sisters agree with me, while my mother is insisting that I was a huge asshole cause Mary, for how bad she hurt me, was always my ex-wife, so a quick visit wouldn't change anything for me. My mother is a very forgive and forget person, but she didn't feel the sting of that betrayal in her own bed. My father and sisters, however, saw the state I was in 3 years ago. They saw the shell of a man I became. My friends are divided on the issue. Some think that since it's a life or death situation, I should show some humanity, while others say I owe her absolutely nothing. So here I am. So, am I the a-hole? Edit, I'm happy that most of you are on my side, and I want to say honestly that I'm extremely resentful and I hold grudges, but that's my character. This story with my ex left a mark on me, and whatever is connected to her makes me angry and resentful like I never was, cause I really loved her, and divorcing was one of the most difficult things I ever did, cause if on the outside I appear tough and strict, on the inside I thought a lot about Mary, and on the possibility to give her another chance. But then I think of what she did to me, and how badly I was in these 3 years, and my resentment grows more and more. With Mary's parents I had a decent relationship, cause they were never happy about our relationship and were always skeptical for some reasons that I don't know. They always treated me like I wasn't quite good enough for their daughter, right up until she did the unthinkable. And the last thing is about my mother. At the moment I thought nothing of what she said, but now that many of you told me about her thoughts of cheaters and cheating, I'm gonna have a talk with her and my father, cause okay that my mom was close with Mary, but this episode is off, and when I will have a talk with her I will update you. So again, thank you all, and you restored a bit of hope in me. P.S. I'm dating a wonderful woman since a few months and I hope things will go smoothly. Update. First of all, I don't know if I hate you all or if I want to thank you for your suspicions on my mother's response. Right now, I'm more for I hate you all. I will try to make it as short as possible, even if, honestly, this situation exploded in a way I never expected, and now my entire family is a complete disaster. So, when a few days ago my mother told me her opinion on the issue with my ex, we were alone in the kitchen and my father wasn't there. But yesterday, I had a talk with both of them about this because you were right. Her response was off, and it sounded like she had some issues with cheating, and I hate to admit it, but you were right. After reading all your comments, I started thinking more about the way she defended Mary. At first, I thought maybe she was just emotional because she had known my ex for years, and maybe she still saw her as part of the family somehow. But the more I replayed the conversation in my head, the more wrong it sounded. It wasn't just, you should visit her because she was important once. My mother talked like cheating was some normal mistake people should move on from if enough time passes. She talked like betrayal was something temporary and forgivable by default. It bothered me more and more because she knows exactly what those years after my divorce looked like for me. She saw me when I lost weight because I couldn't eat properly. She saw me going to therapy twice a week. She saw me waking up angry and going to sleep angry for months. She saw me throw away pictures, gifts, and furniture because everything reminded me of Mary. She was there when I changed house and number because I wanted to erase every possible connection with my ex-wife. So, hearing my own mother minimize cheating that way started making me suspicious. Yesterday evening, I went to my parents' house after work. My sisters were out with friends, so it was only me, my father, and my mother. At first, the atmosphere was normal. My father was watching TV, and my mother was making coffee. I almost thought maybe I was overthinking everything. Then I asked directly why she defended Mary so much. At first, she got defensive immediately and started saying that she wasn't defending cheating and that people online were putting ideas in my head. My father asked what we were talking about because he clearly had no idea about the conversation me and her had in the kitchen a few days before. So, I explained everything. I told him how Mom said that maybe I should visit Mary because life is short, because she was once my wife, because people make mistakes, and because resentment only destroys people. The second I repeated those words, I saw my father's expression change completely. It honestly shocked me because I have never seen that look on his face before. My father is one of those calm men that everyone likes. Even when I was a kid, I never saw him lose control. He never screamed at us, never threw things, never acted aggressive. He was always patient, even when me and my sisters did stupid things. But the moment I repeated my mother's opinion, he became cold immediately. He asked her why she would ever say something like that to me after what happened with Mary. My mother started stumbling over her words, saying that she only meant that hate isn't healthy and that maybe I should move on completely instead of still carrying anger after 3 years. My father asked her very directly why she seemed so sympathetic toward cheaters. That is when everything exploded. Apparently, during the first 2 years of their marriage, she cheated on him with her ex-boyfriend. Not once. Not briefly. An actual affair. Her ex used to travel often for work, and at some point, he came back to stay in our city for a long period. According to my father, my mother seriously considered divorcing him at the time because she still had feelings for her ex. I felt sick hearing all this because my parents were always the stable couple in my eyes. They were the example everyone pointed at during family gatherings. The solid marriage. The people who survived everything together. Turns out half of that image was built on secrets. My father said he found out about the affair after noticing changes in her behavior. He confronted her, and things got ugly. Apparently, there were months of fighting, threats of divorce, and complete chaos before her ex died suddenly in a car accident involving multiple people. After that happened, my mother had some kind of breakdown and begged my father not to leave her. They went to couples therapy and eventually stayed together, but according to him, things were never truly the same again. The worst part is that none of us knew any of this. Not me. Not my sisters. My father looked completely devastated while talking about it. Not angry at first. Just tired. Like reopening an old wound he spent decades trying to bury. Then he asked my mother how she could sit there and lecture me about forgiveness after watching what my divorce did to me. That is when the screaming started. He told her she should be ashamed of herself for defending someone who cheated after everything she put him through years ago. He said he spent decades trying to keep their marriage alive while carrying humiliation and pain she caused. My mother started crying harder, but honestly, even I could tell my father wasn't buying it. He said every time she cries during arguments she suddenly becomes the victim, and he was tired of it. I honestly froze during all this because I didn't know what to do. I felt like I had accidentally detonated a bomb inside my own family. Then my sisters came downstairs because they heard the shouting. Everything got even worse after that because my father basically told them the truth too. I will never forget the silence after he admitted Mom cheated on him years ago. My younger sister genuinely thought he was joking at first because it sounded impossible to her. My mother tried explaining herself, but nobody was listening anymore. My oldest sister got furious immediately because she was cheated on by an ex-boyfriend years ago, and it destroyed her mentally for a long time. Hearing that our mother had done the same thing to Dad completely changed the way she looked at her. My father finally snapped completely and told my mother that if these are still her views on cheating after everything, then maybe they should have divorced years ago. He told her to pack her things and leave the house for now because he couldn't even look at her. And before people ask, yes, legally the house belongs to my father because he inherited it from my grandfather long before marrying my mother. The argument went on for hours. At some point, my mother stopped trying to defend cheating and started blaming me for bringing all this back up. She said none of this would have happened if I didn't start interrogating her because of strangers online putting ideas in my head. But honestly, what was I supposed to do? Ignore it? Pretend her reaction wasn't weird? Eventually, she packed a few bags and left to stay with her female best friend. After she left, the house felt dead silent. My father just sat at the kitchen table staring into nothing for a long time. My sisters were crying. I honestly felt guilty, even if rationally I know this isn't my fault. Later that night, my father thanked me. Not sarcastically. Genuinely. He said hearing my mother's opinion about Mary made him realize that maybe she never truly understood the damage cheating causes because she was always on the other side of it. He admitted he spent years convincing himself they moved past everything, but hearing her defend betrayal so casually reopened everything for him. Now my sisters barely want to speak to our mother. My mother is sending me messages saying I destroyed the family. My aunt called me, saying I should have minded my business because old wounds should stay buried. Meanwhile, my father has gone from devastated to strangely calm today. Almost too calm, honestly. Like he already made some decision internally. And me? I honestly don't even know what to feel anymore. A few days ago, this was just about my cheating ex-wife and whether I was rude to her parents at a supermarket. Now I found out my mother cheated on my father for the first 2 years of their marriage, almost left him for another man, hid it from all of us our entire lives, and somehow still thought she had the moral authority to lecture me about forgiveness. So, thanks to your suspicions, the situation is this, and it's all a fucking mess.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Daily Tales Update.